we are joined by some pupils from Wallace High School, which the monument itself overlooks, who have been studying the Battle of Stirling Bridge and who are going to share with us today their own version of events on that day back in September 1297.
Before the battle, and William Wallace had gathered his men on the top of Abbey Craig and hid them in the trees so the English wouldn't see them from across the bridge. It was cold, dark and wet, and the men were miserable. William Wallace was a tall, strong, handsome man. Not only was he handsome, he was clever and smart. He was a guerrilla fighter and he knew the grounds around the bridge and the river, so he had a plan ready. He asked Pin Wright, a carpenter, this. So Pin, can you do something for me?
Sure, Wallace.
Can you saw planks of wood from the middle of the bridge and tie a big bolt under it and pull rope along it and wait under our side of the bridge in a hammock until I blow my horn and give you the signal to pull the rope, and then all this English on the bridge will come crashing down and drown in the water. Can you do that for me?
Sure, Wallace, I'm your man. As the sun was up the next morning, two of the English leaders, the Earl of Surrey, who was a thin man, very arrogant, and he thought it was just going to be a walk in the park, and Hugh de Cressingham, a big fat man who liked to eat and drink. The English started to cross the bridge.
But the Earl of Surrey slept in, and one of his men came and woke him up, and he demanded that they came and they retreated. He was furious. He told them to wait for his command to cross the bridge and start the battle.
Yous are the Scottish.
These are the English.
Freedom for Scotland!
To the English for an easy win.
Yay! Scots march.
English march.
The battle. The Earl of Surrey knew what was happening and fled on his horse with the rest of his men. Hugh de Cressingham saw what was happening and tried to turn his horse, but fell off because he was so fat.
William Wallace chopped off his head and skinned him and put it in his bag for later, where he would make a scabbard and a handle for his sword. The Scots won! Years after the battle, at the Battle of Falkirk, William Wallace was captured and taken to England,
When he was hung, drawn, and quartered.
That is why the Wallace Monument was built, to commemorate William Wallace on his bravery and how he fought for Scotland's freedom.
We're Scots, and we are English.
10th of September, 1297. Wallace led us up the hill of the Abbey Craig, waiting for the night ahead. It was dull, dark and miserable, but we thought, as we slept, we thought of our families and how Wallace would hopefully lead us to freedom the next day.
We knew we were going to win, even though Wallace had burnt all our crops thinking that we would starve to death. It was obvious we were going to win. We had double the amount of money that they did.
But there was an element of something that not quite what it seemed. We knew Wallace wasn't stupid, so that he'd probably left a trap ahead for us.
We had heard rumours that Wallace had got a carpenter to go to the bridge and set a trap. And when the signal was given, he'd pull a rope and the whole bridge would collapse, whilst evening out our numbers.
So in the morning of the battle, when we started to cross the bridge, the Earl of Surrey, a tall, thin, arrogant man, called us back because he'd slept in and he wanted to give us the orders to go into battle.
We saw the English approach the bridge. They started to cross before our plan was sure to work. But then they turned around and started to retreat. No one knew what was happening.
As the English started to cross again, the signal was given, and the bridge collapsed.
I was able to make it across, but I turned around and see all these people screaming and shouting. I knew how heavy the armour was and how easy it is to drown in the water.
On the side of the river, the Scots started to surround us. We felt cut off and completely trapped. more boxed in as they got closer and closer and closer.
I thought I could see the Earl of Surrey on the other side of the bridge, like shouting at his troops or something, but then they all suddenly turned and fled.
All we could hear was the sounds of swords clattering, voices of the people who were dying. A splash of blood that was fresh and new ran on my face. And with all the confusion, it seemed almost as if English were against English, Scots were against Scots, and father against son.
One of the men who got across the bridge was Hugh de Cressingham, the English's other leader. He was a fat man who loved food and drink, and he thought he was better than everybody. But suddenly he looked startled, and I saw it was because William Wallace was coming towards him with his claymore, and he cut his head off.
Just like that. He started to skin Hugh Cressingham.
I meant a scabbard and handle for a sword from his skin.
So in conclusion,
Scots won! And now we're here
at the Wallace Monument,
Built in honour of William Wallace himself.
Freedom!